Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Now today I am bringing to you the start of a little two-part series I have for the channel, and I'm going to be creating the all-time Bruins team. Now for this all-time Bruins team, there are going to be 12 forwards, 6 defensemen, and 2 goalies. Now among the 12 forwards, I actually do have 4 centers, 4 left wings, and 4 right wings, and I've placed them all in lines and how I feel they would work to well. Usually it's based on the performance they've had in their career, but there also is like some personal preference as to who I think would line up better with other people. So in this first part that you're seeing today, I'm going to be going over the 12 forwards. And in part 2, that will be the defense and the goalies, and I also will take a look back at the entire team in that next video. But for this first video, I'm just going to be focusing on all the 12 forwards who I think are the 12 best forwards in Bruins history. Now before I get into talking about the forwards, I want everyone to check out the Black and Gold Hockey website. I'm going to leave a link to it in the description. There's been a lot of great articles posted in the last couple of weeks. There's been a lot of high quality content, a lot of great people working over there. Yeah, I really want everyone to check it out. I'll also leave a link to the Black and Gold Hockey Twitter. That'll be in the description as well. And I'll also leave a link to the Fanatics website that if you go to the Black and Gold Hockey website, you'll be able to find little banners on the side. Click that for Fanatics, and you'll be able to get a lot of great sports merchandise, a lot of great jerseys, hats, print anything you can imagine. The best place to get any sports apparel. Now, first up, I'm going to be talking about some honorable mentions. So these are the 3 forwards, 1 for each position, that just miss out on being in the top 12. But I think some of them are current. They very well could easily make their way into the top 12. So first off, on the right wing, is going to be current Czech superstar David Pastrnak. Pastrnak scored 180 goals and 199 assists for 379 points, with only 171 penalty minutes over his 6 seasons playing 390 games. He is a plus 63. It's been from 2014 to 2020. Now Pastrnak I think, will most likely become one of the top 12 forwards in Bruins history, and I think he's still too young for me right now to put him into the top 12. But he is very close to it. And I think within the next couple seasons, if he continues his high goal scoring pace, such after he had 48 goals in the shortened season this year, I think he will make it into the top 12. Now, on the left wing, it's going to be his line mate, and that is Brad Marchand. Marchand scored 290 goals, 356 assists for 646 points, totaling 756 penalty minutes with a plus 221 in 751 career games in the black and gold over 11 seasons from 2009 to 2020. Now, he obviously was part of the 2011 Stanley Cup champion Bruins team. He did a very good job for them, scored 2 goals in Game 7 against Vancouver. And I think he is just short of the list. But I think if he has another really good couple seasons, I think he very well could jump over the 4th or 3rd choice left winger for this. And the center for the honorable mentions is going to be Bill Cowley. Now, Bill Cowley played for the Bruins 12 seasons from 1935 to 1947. Played 508 games for the Bruins, scoring 190 goals, 346 assists for 536 points, while also getting only 133 penalty minutes. Cowley, he was a part of a couple Bruins Stanley Cup winning teams, and I think he is a very good center, but I just think their centers in Bruins history are so stacked that I think he just misses out, even though for other teams he would probably make the top 4 if he obviously played for them. But he didn't, so he's going to be just missing out on the top 4 centers in Bruins history. So the right winger on the 4th line is going to be one of the Bruins greats, because obviously everyone here is the Bruins great. It's going to be Ken Hodge. Now, Hodge had 289 goals, 385 assists for 674 points, totaling 620 penalty minutes, and at plus 264 in his 652 career Bruins games in 9 seasons between 1967 and 1976. Ken Hodge, he was part of the 2 Bruins teams in the 70s that won the Cup, the 70 team in the 1972, and he was a very key part of both teams, and as you see by his stats, he did a lot of good job for the Bruins in his time. Now, on the left wing for the 4th line is going to be Don Marcotte. He had 230 goals, 254 assists, 484 points with 317 penalty minutes, with a plus 191 in 868 games in 15 seasons between 1965 and 1982. Now again, Marcotte, just like Hodge, they were teammates back in the 72 Stanley Cup winning teams. And he had a very good time with the Bruins, so I think he's going to be the fourth choice left winger for the Bruins all-time team. And the center for the fourth line is one of the active players, and it's going to be David Krejci. This one is a bit controversial, and he's scored 207 goals, 479 assists for 686 points, with 323 penalty minutes and a plus 127 in 911 games over 14 seasons, starting in 2006, going through the 2020 season. Now, Krejci, a lot of people may not put him in the top 5 centers, but I think his longevity and the fact he's been a reliable performer for the Bruins over this 14 seasons, I think it earns him a spot in this list. Now, for the third line, we're going to start off with somebody who played for the Bruins between 1927 and 1947, done 20 seasons in black and gold, played 824 games, racking up 452 penalty minutes, 228 goals, 246 assists, 474 points. Now, this man is Dit Clapper. He was one of the original greats of the Bruins. He spent a long time Bruin, and obviously a fan favorite for the team back then. And he didn't have a plus minus rating, and not everyone does in this list, just because some players played before it was a thing. But Dit Clapper, he was a very iconic Bruins player. He was a very good right winger, so he's the third best right winger in Bruins history. Moving to the left wing for this third line is going to be Wayne Cashman. Now, Wayne Cashman played 17 seasons between 1964 and 1983. Played also 1,027 games with the Bruins, had a plus 278. He had a lot of penalties, 1,039. He also had 277 goals, 516 assists, 793 points. Now, Cashman is definitely the first player here to be a brute, but he also had a good goal-scoring touch when he needed it. He was also part of the 70-72 team, which you're going to see a lot of players who were on the 70-72 Bruins teams, as though that team was, those are some of the greatest Bruins teams in terms of star power. But Wayne Cashman, he was a bit of a brute. I think he definitely fought his way a lot, but in a little bit of a scoring touch that he had makes him one of the best forwards in Bruins history, so I have him as the third line left winger. Now moving to the center, it has to be the man of Boston hockey history, Milt Schmidt. In 16 seasons from 1936 to 1955 Bruins, played 776 games. He doesn't have a plus-minus ratio, as the older players typically don't. He scored 229 goals, 346 assists, and 575 points, with only 466 penalty minutes. Now, he is one of the, and I say one of the original greats, but he was on the middle time. He was there for the Cups in the late 30s and early 40s. And when anybody thinks of Boston hockey, one of the first things you're going to think of is Milt Schmidt. He is an iconic member to Boston. He may not necessarily been the best player in terms of, wasn't the best goal scorer, may not the best assist player. Didn't stand out, wasn't the brute, but he was just an all-around great player, and I think he's very deserving of being the third choice center. But the top two are far and away better in terms of their performances for the Bruins. So that's why he has to be the third choice center. Now moving on to the second line. Now, there are two right wingers I have on the second line. But I think the right wingers in Bruins history are a lot more stacked than on the left side. Because I don't think it would be fair to cut a Dit Clapper or Ken Hodge out of this list. But at the top, there's also three even better right wings. So I put two on the second line here. So the first one is going to be the Tasmanian Devil, Terry O'Reilly. O'Reilly had 204 goals for 402 assists for 606 points in his 891 games over 14 seasons from 71 to 85. He did have plus 222, but what really makes him stand out is that he's leading all-time penalty minutes for the Bruins with 2,095. Tasmanian Devil was one of the most physical Bruins players in history. He would pretty much fight anybody. He remembers the the whole fighting incident with the Rangers fans. He was a big part of that fight. But Terry O'Reilly is one. He's one of the best forwards in Bruins history, I think. Even though he didn't necessarily have the goal scoring touch that some of the other guys up on this list had, he was so consistent, and he's an iconic Boston figure. He's got to be on the team, and I think he actually would be one of the second best right wingers, tied with the other right winger who have on the second line. And that is Cam Neely. Now, Cam Neely is, I think, if his career wasn't cut short by injuries, he could challenge for the number one spot. Now, Cam Neely, he scored 344 goals, 246 assists, and 590 points for the Bruins. He only played 525 games in 10 seasons from 86-96. Obviously, the Bruins acquired him in a trade from Vancouver. But in his time with the Bruins, he was very good. Unfortunately, never had to win a cup as a player, but he did win a cup in the front office, so it's good to see that. Obviously, I actually named after Cam Neely, so might be slightly biased, but I think a lot of people would agree that he is one of the best wingers in Bruins history. Now, he also had 921 penalty minutes because he was not afraid to get physical with players. He would hit people, he'd fight. He did whatever it would take to win games, and he's had that winning mentality, which you'd love to see from a Bruin. Now, the second best center mid, who I think actually could be the second best forward in Bruins history, it's a very tough one, but I think that he's edged out by the number one, but it's going to be the last current player for the forwards. That is Patrice Bergeron. Now, Bergeron, he's been with the Bruins for 16 seasons between 2003 and 2020. He's played 1,089 games, so he's played a long time. He's at plus 201. He only has 424 penalty minutes, but he's at 352 goals, 517 assists, and 869 points. He is a no-doubt Hall of Famer once he retires, in my opinion. And I think a lot of Bruins fans would agree. Bergeron has been one of the consistent players for the Bruins, and often one of the best. And he's been very good since his rookie season, and he always had an injury season before, like 2009. But he's been consistently great for the Bruins since, and he's made that great partnership with Pasha and Marchand for the Bruins now. And I think he's the second best forward in Bruins history, but he's definitely the second best center. And again, he's the first ballot Hall of Famer in my opinion. Once he does retire, I only think he's got a couple more seasons left, but it's gonna be a couple great seasons. I can believe. Now, going on to the top line, the first line, obviously the best player in each position. Now, the right winger, this one I think a lot of people could say should be Cam Neely, but I'm actually gonna give it to nifty Rick Middleton. Now, Rick Middleton spent 12 seasons in Boston from 1976 to 1988. He scored 402 goals, 496 assists, and 898 points, with a very small amount of penalties, with 124 penalty minutes, and a plus 220 in 881 career games. Now, nifty Rick, again, he was very nifty. He was a consistent goal scorer, a lot of assists, and there's something about his gameplay. It was silky smooth. I mean, he had a nickname like Nifty. You got to be pretty good to be able to live up to that nickname, and I think he did. So I would say he's probably the best right winger in Bruins history. On the left side, it's another name synonymous with Boston. It's got to be Johnny Busick, the Chief. Chief played 21 seasons from 1957 to 1978 in Boston. He amassed a total of 1,436 games. Now he did have a -7, which is only minus rating of all the Bruins forwards who made the list. But he made up for it with his 545 goals, which is the all-time leading scorer for the Bruins. He had 794 assists and a total of 1,339 points. Now, he wasn't the all-time leading points getter, but he was insane for the Bruins. Or 794 assists is number one, but he led the Bruins in history goals, 545, which I potentially could see Pasha overtaking in the future, but that's not for a long time. Busick's got that record on hold for probably a good 10 seasons. But he is 100% the best left winger in Bruins history. And if you lead the team in goals in your career with one team, you're probably going to be one of the best players, and he definitely was. And now the center for the Bruins all-time team on the first line, in my opinion, the greatest Bruins forward in history, it has to be Phil Esposito. Now, he didn't play his entire career with the Bruins. He only actually played 9 seasons, between 1967 and 76. But what he did in 9 seasons was incredible. Played 625 games with a plus 306 plus minus rating. He had 459 goals, 553 assists for 1,012 points. Now, he was part of the 2 Stanley Cup winning teams in the 70s, the 70-72 Cups. And it was him and Bobby Orr that were the leaders of that team. It was Orr was the provider, Esposito was the goal scorer. And Esposito just lit the lamp a lot with the Bruins. He was the first player to get 100 points in a season, and then he followed up with a 99-point season. So he's always had a lot of points, and unfortunately his time in Boston was cut short, and it didn't end necessarily the best ways. There's a bit of bad blood between Esposito and the Bruins, but that doesn't change the fact that Esposito is the greatest forward to ever play for the Boston Bruins. Alright, so there you have it. Those are the 12 forwards for the all-time Bruins team. Quickly go through them all. On the fourth line, you have Ken Hodge, Don Marcotte, and David Krejci. On the third line, you have Wayne Cashman, Dit Clapper, and Milt Schmidt. The second line is Terry O'Reilly, Cam Neely, and Patrice Bergeron. And the first line is Rick Middleton, John Busick, and Phil Esposito. So that's going to be it for the forwards for this series. And now in the next video, is going to be the defense and the goalies. So I'll have the 6 best defensemen, 2 best goalies. Plus, I do have some honorable mentions for both positions, as there were some tough decisions to make for this team. But yeah, so that's going to be it for this video. Again, please check out the links to Black and Gold's Twitter, the website, and also the Fanatics link. And so that's going to be it for this video. Now, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.